Backwoods where the dirt roads meet. Trailer park wisdom got me off the streets. Mama worked doubles just to keep the lights on. Daddy's empty bottles, by morning they all gone. 25 years of nothing but struggle, learning how to hustle when your dreams get muzzled. Standing in the kitchen watching rain leak through, water in the ceiling, but what can you do? Crawling out the mud ain't easy when it's deep. Southern pride running through my veins like concrete. They said I would make it, said I'd never leave. Now I'm burning rubber while the grinding teeth. Let's go! Southern static in my veins, lightning crashing through these chains. Back road dreaming, engines screaming through the thunder and the rain. Southern static in my soul, dirt and diamonds, rock and roll. When they count you out, that's when you shout, let the whole damn world know. County line living where the law don't reach, knuckles always bloody from the lessons they teach. Sipping on that moonshine, clear as Sunday morning. Take another shot when life don't give you warning. Sitting on the porch with a 6-string prayer, turning pain to power with the stories that I share. Mama always told me, boy, you got a gift. When words are all you got, you learn to speak with a lift. Bible in the drawer and a shotgun by the bed, fighting off the demons dancing round inside my head. Small town gossip traveling at light speed, but they can't define me, that ain't who I'll be. No! Southern static in my veins, lightning crashing through these chains. Back road dreaming, engines screaming through the thunder and the rain. Southern static in my soul, dirt and diamonds, rock and roll. When they count you out, that's when you shout, let the whole damn world know. They say home is where the heart is, but my heart's been torn apart between the place that raised me and the dreams that chased me in the dark. Standing at the crossroads with the devil at my back, 1 foot in the future, 1 foot on a dirt track. Now I'm burning rubber on these highways out of town. Rearview memories fading, can barely hear the sound of all the doubters laughing when I said I'd make it out. Now they're in my DMs asking what I'm all about. Turn the static to a signal, turn the noise to a voice. When you're born with nothing, making something's not a choice. It's survival, it's the hunger that keeps driving me on. From the trailer to the stage lights, that's a hell of a song. Represent the forgotten, speak for those who can't speak. For the dreamers and the broken, for the strong and the weak. For the South that raised me, taught me how to stand tall. Through the static and the struggle, I survived it all. Southern static in my veins, lightning crashing through these chains. Back road dreaming, engines screaming through the thunder and the rain. Southern static in my soul, dirt and diamonds, rock and roll. When they count you out, that's when you shout, let the whole damn world know.
They see us coming from miles away, kicking up dirt in their perfect day. When that dust cloud's rising,
They know we're on our way.
Born with a tractor's roar, louder than dreams. Small town gossip flowing down the streams. Callous hands and dirt beneath my nails. Weathered faces tell 1,000 tales. We don't got mansions, we got memories. Passed down shotguns and family recipes. School bus riding down broken roads. Heavy metal blasting seeds being sold. They laughed when I said I'd be somebody one day. Now they're all watching as I'm blasting away from the same dirt roads they said would hold me down. Now they're all choking on my dust cloud.
They don't understand what makes us proud. They never felt the thunder of a country crowd. When engines roar and bonfires light the night. When small town dreamers finally take flight. Watch that dust cloud rising when we roll through town. Flags flying, engines crying, ain't nothing gonna hold us down. That dust cloud rising is all they're gonna see when country kids start climbing to where we're meant to be. That dust cloud rising.
minimum wage got us grinding our teeth. Daddy said, son, just keep your head down, but I'd rather die than stay stuck in this town. No way. Trailer park teachings, cornfield confessions, learning life lessons through fists and aggression. We don't talk feelings, we bury that shit deep, alongside promises we couldn't keep. But beneath those layers of grit and grime, there's a fire burning that won't die with time. So mock my accent, laugh at my clothes, this country boy's gonna steal the show. Let's go.
They don't understand what makes us proud. They never felt the thunder of a country crowd. When engines roar and bonfires light the night, when small town dreamers finally take flight. Watch that dust cloud rising when we roll through town. Flags flying, engines crying, ain't nothing gonna hold us down. That dust cloud rising is all they're gonna see when country kids start climbing to where we're meant to be. That dust cloud rising. They call us backwards, call us plain, say we're stuck in yesterday. But there's strength in these roots that city kids will never know. A resilience that grows in the cracks of broken roads.
When you come from nothing, you got nothing to lose. Just that chip on your shoulder and those hand-me-down shoes. But there's power in hunger, there's fire and pain. When you're born in the dust, you don't fear the rain. Watch that dust cloud rising when we roll through town. Flags flying, engines crying, ain't nothing gonna hold us down. That dust cloud rising is all they're gonna see when country kids start climbing to where we're meant to be. That dust cloud rising.
They see us coming from miles away, kicking up dirt in their perfect day. When that dust cloud's rising,
They better get out of our way. Sometimes I wonder if anyone hears the music that plays in a small town's tears, the melodies hidden in everyday lives, a symphony no one bothers to prize.
First note plays when the factory whistle screams, waking up workers from American dreams. Mother of three at the diner by 8, serving up coffee to drown out the wait. Dad's at the plant for the third shift in line, hands calloused over from overtime. Little brother's got talent but nowhere to go, shooting hoops at a rim with no net to show. I'm watching it all from my bedroom window, scribbling words that nobody will know, trying to capture the sound of surrender, the rhythm of lives that are permanently tethered to streets with more potholes than prospects. The future's determined before we could process. They call it simple, I call it a prison, when dreams become ghosts that fade with the seasons.
But beneath the quiet, beneath the pain, there's a harmony forming through struggle and strain. Listen closely to the notes between breaths, to the symphony playing that they all forget. This small town symphony plays every day through the hearts of the people who just have to stay. Every closed door is a beat in the drum, every tear is a note that was meant to become part of this ballad that nobody hears. This small town symphony of hopes and fears. I promise I'm listening, I promise I'll play this small town symphony until my last day.
Second movement begins with the church bells at noon, as the faithful file and seek a spiritual room, while the outcast stand smoking outside of the store, wondering what all the praying is for. High school quarterback with a scholarship dream, torn ACL on a bad football field scene. Cheerleader pregnant at 17 years, whispers behind hands and unspoken fears. Teacher who wanted to change the world once, now just tries to make budget with government funds. The mayor who promised to bring back the jobs, while factories closed and the people were robbed of dignity, purpose, the means to survive. Yet somehow this town still managed to thrive, through community potlucks and Friday night games, through holding each other when bearing the pains. I see it.
But beneath the quiet, beneath the pain, there's a harmony forming through struggle and strain. Listen closely to the notes between breaths, to the symphony playing that they all forget. This small town symphony plays every day through the hearts of the people who just have to stay. Every closed door is a beat in the drum. Every tear is a note that was meant to become part of this ballad that nobody hears. This small town symphony of hopes and fears. I promise I'm listening, I promise I'll play this small town symphony until my last day. Sometimes I wanna run away, leave this place in my rearview mirror, but these melodies follow, these rhythms remain. The symphony grows louder, not clearer. And I realize now that I carry this town in every word that I write, and every sound that escapes from my lips when I'm trying to cope with the weight of these dreams and this desperate hope that somebody somewhere will finally hear the music that's playing so distant yet near. The orchestra hidden in plain every day, the soundtrack of lives that won't fade away. The small town symphony plays every day through the hearts of the people who just have to stay. Every closed door is a beat in the drum. Every tear is a note that was meant to become part of this ballad that nobody hears. This small town symphony of hopes and fears. I promise I'm listening, I promise I'll play this small town symphony until my last day. The final notes linger like ghosts in the air. A small town symphony that proves we were here. Some marks fade with time, some stay with you for life. Whiskey burns going down, ink burns going in. Both leave their mark, both tell your story.
First tattoo at 16, hidden from my mom. Rebellious streak that came from my pops, never calm. Jack Daniels, courage before the needle hit. Pain became pleasure, couldn't quit. Fast forward through years of bad decisions. Skin like a canvas of life collisions. Every scar, every line, permanent reminders of nights I can't remember, but my body keeps its finders. Keeper of secrets that I've tried to drown in bottles and bad habits when no one's around. Arms full of stories, liver full of poison. Voice full of gravel from years of destroying. My body, my temple, my prison, my home. Decorated with memories when I felt most alone. You can read me like a book if you look close enough. Every chapter etched in skin, some smooth, some rough. Yeah! Whiskey and ink, the stories we drink, the pictures we paint when the world feels too fake. Whiskey and ink, permanent links to nights we survive and the days we're alive. Whiskey and got the date of my father's death across my chest, the day that he left. The day of unrest, got my mother's name in cursive on my wrist, reminded to be better than the men she kissed. Got lyrics down my spine from songs that saved me when voices in my head nearly slayed me. Got a half sleeve of demons, I'm still fighting. Lightning bolt scars from storms still striking. Every drop that I swallow, trying to cope. Every line that I've drawn as a symbol of hope. The bartender knows me by my poison of choice. The tattoo artist knows me by my shaking voice, saying make it hurt enough to feel something real when the numbness sets in and I can't seem to heal from wounds that are deeper than needles can reach, from pain that no bottle has ever impeached. Never! Whiskey and ink, the stories we drink, the pictures we paint when the world feels too fake. Whiskey and ink, permanent links to nights we survive and the days we're alive. Whiskey and ink.
They say the body is a temple, but mine's more like a dive bar. Walls covered in graffiti, each mark a memory, each scar a story, each drink a temporary escape from the permanence of everything else. Face the pain, wear the shame, own the blame, marks remain. Knuckles tattooed with hold fast, bloody and raw, from fighting demons both reeling in my jaw. Reflection in the mirror, barely recognize the man. Constellation of choices made without a plan. Liver screaming mercy, skin whispering more. Always searching for the next blank canvas to explore. Running from a past that's mapped across my flesh, drowning in the present that I'm trying to refresh. With liquid absolution that burns on the way down. We think that makes a statement when I come around. They judge the outside, never knowing what's within. The battles that I fought, the wars I didn't win, but every mark's a milestone, every scar's a step, every drink a decision that I might regret. But they're mine, all mine, the choices that I made, the permanent reminders of the prices that I paid. Whiskey and ink, the stories we drink, the pictures we paint when the world feels too fake. Whiskey and ink, permanent links to nights we survive and the days we're alive. Whiskey and ink.
Some marks fade with time, but the deepest ones define you. Whiskey burns going down, ink burns going in. Both tell your story, whether you want them to or not.
Down by the water where nobody goes, that's where the truth and the whiskey flows. Creek water confessions, that's all we know.
Barefoot on a bank with a mason jar, moonshine in my hand, scars on my heart, casting out lines in more ways than one. Fishing for answers till the day is done. Grew up wild in these backwoods bays. Mama prayed daily that the Lord would save us. Daddy ran shine in a black Chevelle, had the county cops knowing him well. I learned to swim in this muddy creek, learned to fight before I could speak. Learned that silence says more than words, and the truth flows free when nobody's heard. So I come down here when my mind gets heavy, when the weight of life's got my soul unsteady. Just me and these waters that seen it all. Creek Bank Confessional, Southern Draw.
Yeah. Creek water confessions, whisper to the wind, secrets that I'm keeping and sins I've committed again. Creek water confession, when there's nowhere left to go, just me and my reflection in the only truth I know.
First kiss Mary Lou down by the bend. First fight was Tommy who called her a friend. First buzz from a beer that my cousin stole. First time I felt God touch my soul. Baptized twice, once in the church, once in these waters when life let me lurch. Lost my best friend when the current ran strong. 16 years old and everything gone wrong. Threw my first pistol in after the way. Some things even creek water can't wash away. Been running from ghosts since I was a child. Been chasing horizons equally wild. Got tattoos telling stories I can speak aloud. Got memories to keep me both humble and proud. So I wade in deep when the moon hangs low. Let the current take thoughts nobody should know. Lord knows.
Creek water confessions, whisper to the wind, secrets that I'm keeping and sins I've committed again. Creek water confession, when there's nowhere left to go, just me and my reflection in the only truth I know.
They say water cleanses the soul, but what happens when the water knows? Every lie you've told, every heart you broke, every promise that went up in smoke. These waters run murky for a reason, carrying the weight of every season of my life. The good, the bad, the unspeakable, the beautiful, the tragic, the irredeemable.
Now I'm grown but still return to the banks where bridges burned. Pour out thoughts that weigh me down, let them sink without a sound. Creek water's got my DNA, from blood and sweat on working days, for tears when nobody was around, from childhood dreams now 6 feet down. Some call it trash, I call it home. Some call it simple, I call it known. Some fear the backwoods, I fear the streets. Some seek the answers, I found my peace in murky waters and muddy banks, and simple living in honest thanks, and words that flow when nobody hears, and creek water washing away my fears. Amen. Creek water confessions, whisper to the wind, secrets that I'm keeping and sins I've committed again. Creek water confessions, when there's nowhere left to go, just me and my reflection in the only truth I know. Down by the water possessions. That's all we know. That's all we'll ever know.
Walking on broken glass since I was a child. Learn to step carefully, learn to survive. But these cuts run deep and the blood still flows from wounds that a child should never know.
Age 5, hiding closets when the screaming began. Little hands over ears trying not to understand why daddy's eyes look different when he came home late, while mama's tears fell harder with each passing day. Broken bottles, broken promises, broken home, broken child, learning how to stand alone. You can only witness so much before it breaks you too, before the cracks start showing in everything you do. Anxiety became my shadow, fear became my friend, waiting for the next explosion, waiting for the end of whatever peace we managed in between the storms. And I grew up thinking chaos was the only norm. Teachers asking why I flinched at every raised hand, nobody knowing what it's like to where I stand on shattered glass that cuts with every single step. Childhood wounds that I ain't finished bleeding yet, not yet.
I'm picking up the pieces of a family portrait, jagged edges cutting deeper than they show. Walking through the shattered glass of what we used to be, learning how to let the broken pieces go. These scars tell a story that I'm rewriting now. By damage, not controlled by pain. I'm sweeping up the shattered glass, finding myself in the reflections, finding strength in what remains.
20 years of therapy trying to unwind the twisted roots growing deep inside my mind. Panic attacks hitting when the memories flood. Relationships failing cause I don't know love without conditions, without walking on eggshells, without the constant fear of creating my own hell. You sound just like your father, cut deeper than knives. Words that haunted every argument in my life. Swore I'd break the cycle, swore I would be different, but trauma's got a way of making you the victim. Until you face the demon staring from the mirror, until you see the patterns getting clearer and clearer that you're repeating what you swore you never do, becoming what you hated. The nightmare coming true until you realize healing isn't something you achieve, it's something you practice every day that you breathe every day.
I'm picking up the pieces of a family portrait, jagged edges cutting deeper than they show. Walking through the shattered glass of what we used to be, learning how to let the broken pieces go. These scars tell a story that I'm rewriting now, not defined by damage, not controlled by pain. I'm sweeping up the shattered glass, finding myself in the reflections, finding strength in what remains.
Sometimes I still hear the sound of glass breaking in my dreams. Sometimes I still feel like that child, terrified and unseen. But I'm not hiding anymore, and I'm not walking on broken floors. I'm building something new from the shards, a mosaic more beautiful than before. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but they never mention how much longer they'll encase than the hurting did. How the scars remain when the walls are hid. Trauma doesn't end when you leave the house, it follows like a shadow you can't cast out. But I refuse to be defended by what broke me. I'm more than what they showed me I could be. Found strength in my fractures, found hope in repair, found family and strangers who actually care, found therapy and music and words wouldn't come, found my voice in the silence when I felt most numb. Forgiveness wasn't for them, it was all for me. Letting go of anger that was drowning me. Some days I still struggle, some nights I still cry for the child I was, for the years gone by. But I'm learning to love all my broken parts, the kaleidoscope patterns of a shattered heart, making something beautiful from what was destroyed, filling empty spaces that the pain left void. And to anyone walking on their own broken glass, know the cutting gets easier as the years pass. Know that healing's possible though never complete. Know your scars are proof you rose back to your feet. You rose.
I'm picking up the pieces of a family portrait, jagged edges cutting deeper than they show. Walking through the shattered glass of what we used to be, learning how to let the broken pieces go. These scars tell a story that I'm rewriting now, not defined by damage, not controlled by pain. I'm sweeping up the shattered glass, finding myself in the reflections, finding strength in what remains.
The broken pieces don't disappear, they just become part of something new. something stronger, something mine.
Born in aluminum siding, lot number 35. Words were the only currency that kept my mind alive. Syllabic salvation in a world of welfare checks, where vocabulary victory meant mental disconnect from the constant collection of bill collector calls, the paper-thin partition of prefabricated walls, listening to arguments through ventilation slats, vocabulary building from my mother's verbal spats, a literate anomaly with library card dreams, devour dictionaries to find what language means, while neighbors nodded off from pharmaceutical relief. I found chemical reactions in my metaphor motifs. Trailer park poet with the pen instead of pipe, crafting compound sentences while dodging stereotype. The irony of articulation born from shattered glass, where double wides develops minds that single track could pass. My trailer park poet with nothing but words, making masterpieces that might never be heard, taking broken pieces of a fractured life, turning pain to paragraphs sharp as a knife. Trailer park poet, that's what I'll remain. Even if I leave here, the roots will remain. These humble beginnings made me who I am. Every verse a victory, every line a chance to stand. Academically adequate despite the address, environmental effect on educational progress, statistical improbability, lyrical anomaly, verbally assaulting assumptions, anatomically, metaphorically murdering mediocre mentalities that prejudge potential based on postal practicalities. The paradoxical perception that prosperity correlates to cognitive creative superiority. I'm syntactically superior, the trailer prodigy, turning socioeconomic setbacks to etymology. Food stamp philosopher with free lunch linguistics, making intellectual income from poetic statistics. Eviction notice poetry, past due bill prose, section 8 sentences that HUD would never know. Park manager asking why I'm using SAT words when I should be fixing faucets. That's absurd. Please. Trailer park poet with nothing but words, making masterpieces that might never be heard, taking broken pieces of a fractured life, turning pain to paragraphs sharp as a knife. Trailer park poet, that's what I remain. Even if I leave here, the roots will remain. These humble beginnings made me who I am. Every verse a victory, every line a chance to stand. They say you can't escape where you're from, but maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe you're meant to carry it with you, transform it into something beautiful. Like how pressure turns coal to diamonds, like how struggle creates strength, like how the most powerful words often come from the most powerless places. Now I'm alphabetically architecting artistry, bombastic brilliance born between broken boundaries, carefully constructing complex conceptual craft, deliberately designing diction, dramatically daft, elevating eloquence, elegantly expressed, fabricating flowery, flamboyantly finessed, grammatically gifted, generating genuine gems, hypnotically handling heightened hipster hymns, intellectually intense, impressively inked, jargon jamming justly, joyously jinxed, knowledge knighting keywords kinetically kept, linguistically layered, literally leapt, metrically measured, magnificently made, narratively nuanced, notably displayed. Watch this! From lot 35 to worldwide stages, from food stamp struggles to respectable wages, from being told my words would never feed me, to feeding auditoriums with lines they can't believe. I still write like I'm sitting on cinder blocks, still fight like that kid who withstood the knocks of aluminum siding in thunderstorms, of judgmental gazes in uniform. The trailer made me tough, made me hunger for more, made me squeeze through cracks like words through a door, made me value every syllable that passes my lips, made me captain of a sinking ship that never dips below the surface of expected mediocrity, into the depths of celebrated velocity. I'm not ashamed or humble, I'm proud of where I'm from, the trailer park poet whose words have finally won true. Trailer park poet with nothing but words, making masterpieces that might never be heard, taking broken pieces of a fractured life, turning pain to paragraphs sharp as a knife. Trailer park poet, that's what I remain. Even if I leave here, the roots will remain. These humble beginnings made me who I am. Every verse a victory, every line a chance to stand.
Started out in a city where the buildings decay, factory smoke blocking out the sun every day. Rust Belt kid with a dream bigger than my block. Teacher saying aim lower, but that talk I fought out of the basement. Ramen noodle dinners, hand-me-down clothes while planning for winter. Circle got smaller as the vision got clear. Cut off the doubters whispering fear in my ear. Mama working doubles just to keep the lights on. Pops disappeared before my memory turned on, so I channeled all the anger to a different path. Turned potential failure to success, do the math. Blue collar roots, but a penthouse dream. Busted my knuckles till they started to gleam like diamonds form under all that pressure. Pain made me shine, now nothing could be better. And every broken promise, every empty fridge, every you'll never make it, built a stronger bridge. From rust to diamonds, from trash to treasure, from barely surviving to living without measure. They didn't see it coming, from breaking down days to breaking records running. Yeah, that's my story, from factory lines to front page glory. Backbone of America forgotten and used, industrial wasteland economically bruised. But that grit in our lungs made our spirits tough. When life isn't handed, you learn to take enough. Repurposed the pain, renovated the hurt, transformed every insult to fuel for the work. Wasn't born with connections, wasn't given a line to skip to the front. Had to grind and design my own path forward through concrete and steel. Every setback I suffered made success more real. Used to steal Wi-Fi from the burger joint, now I'm downloading success. That's the whole point. Rust Belt to gold chains, project house to penthouses. Old enemies now claim they always been around us. Hometown that doubted now puts my name on signs. Funny how they love you when you finally shine. Funny, right? And every broken promise, every empty fridge, every you'll never make it, built a stronger. From rust to diamonds, from trash to treasure, from barely surviving to living without measure. They didn't see it coming, from breaking down daily to breaking records running. Yeah, that's my story, from factory lines to front page glory. Sometimes I still wake up thinking it's all gonna disappear, that I'll be back in that apartment with the leaky ceiling and the constant fear of not being enough, of falling short, of proving everyone right who said I'd fail. But then I remember the journey and how far I've come from that rusty trail. Now I'm standing taller where they said I'd fall, turning that pressure to diamonds, gave it my all. Then go back to before, only forward from here. Success is the best, remains that message is clear. Now they're calling me a genius, calling me a star. Funny how perception changes based on who you are, not who you were or where you came from. Just a shiny exterior that success has spun. But I remember every struggle, every sleepless night, every moment wondering if I'd lose the fight. To expectations, to limitations, to doubt. That's what this journey has really been about. Not the money or the fame or the validation, but proving to myself I could rise above my station. Transform the rust of neglect to something precious. Turn trauma to triumph, that's the real message. So if you're stuck in a place that's holding you down, remember diamonds don't form without pressure around. The Rust Belt produced more than just decay. It forged the diamond standing here today. From rust to diamonds, from trash to treasure, from barely surviving to living without measure. They didn't see it coming, from breaking down daily to breaking records running. Yeah, that's my story, from factory lines to front page glory. Used to be nothing but rust, now I'm shining like diamonds. Pressure made something of us, now we're climbing, yeah, we're climbing all the way up.
Kicking up dust on these backwoods roads, chrome pipes gleaming where the asphalt goes. Country boy swagger with the metal soul. Watch me shine, watch me shine.
Mud tires spinning on a Saturday night, metal blasting, bass thumping, doing it right. Confederate roses and American steel, back roads raising hell is the only way I feel. Alive in the world is trying to dim my shine, but I'm polished like chrome and I'm doing just fine. Rebel spirit running through my veins, southern hospitality with the touch of insane. They said a boy like me would never go far, now I'm cruising lanes in a high-dollar car. From trailer park dreams to highway schemes, burning rubber on asphalt is my favorite thing. Country code with the rock and roll heart, tearing up stages and leaving my mark. Shine like chrome when the lights hit me, blind all the doubters who try to dismiss me. Yeah, pedal to the metal, never looking back, rising from the ashes like a redneck phoenix. Watch me now, watch me now. I shine like chrome in the southern sun, blinding bright when the day is done. Metal in my music, mud on my tires, guitars and tattooed arms. Gravel roads lead into the places with charm, where outlaws gather and music gets made, where legends are born and respect gets paid to those who came before, paved the way for southern boys with something to say. Through distortion and draw, attitude and twang, a new kind of sound where worlds collide and bang. Against tradition, against expectation, creating a movement across the nation, where country meets metal, where rap meets rock, where boundaries fall and the critics shock at the power created when worlds collide, when authenticity can't be denied, when a boy from nothing creates something real, when passion and talent are made of steel. Pedal to the metal, never looking back, rising from the ashes like a redneck phoenix. Watch me now, watch me now. I shine like chrome in the southern sun, blinding bright when the day is done. Metal in my music, mud on my tires, country in my soul with a rebel fire. I shine like chrome, can't tarnish this, reflecting all the haters who said I'd miss. Polished by the struggle, hammered by pain, southern metal rising, breaking these chains. Sometimes I wonder what granddaddy would say if he heard these guitars with the words I play. Would he understand this new kind of sound, or would he think his grandson's just messing around? But then I remember the rebel in him, breaking rules and traditions on a southern whim. So maybe this apple didn't fall too far from the tree of outlaws who follow their star. Croon don't rush when the rain comes down, no. Shine stays bright when they try to drown, right. Every dent and scratch tells a story of mine, battle scars of a journey from dirt to shine. Slugging pride with a universal sound, breaking barriers and burning ground. Never apologize for being loud, making my sisters equally proud. Now stadiums chanting every word I wrote, from dirt roads to gold roads, that's all she wrote. The tale of a kid with a dream too big for the small town minds who wanted him hid, away from the spotlight, away from the stage. But passion like fire can't be kept in a cage, so I kicked down doors that wouldn't open, left behind pieces that couldn't be woven into the tapestry of who I'd become. A southern boy with a beat and a drum, who found his voice between genres and worlds, where flags of rebellion stay proudly unfurled. Not for hate, but for hometown pride, for the roots that run deep in the dreams that ride shotgun in the heart that was built to last. Chrome don't fade and my die is cast. Let's shine like chrome in the southern sun, blinding bright when the day is done. Metal in my music, mud on my tires, country in my soul with a rebel fire. I shine like chrome, can't tarnish this, reflecting all the haters who said I'd miss. Polished by the struggle, hammered by pain, southern metal rising, breaking these chains.
They say the truth ain't pretty. They say salvation ain't free. But down these gravel roads is where I found my gospel.
Born in a double wide with a Bible by the bed, raised on hell, 5 sermons that filled my head with fear of damnation and promises of grace, while daddy drank his demons at a steady pace. Sunday morning saints, Monday morning sinners, the hypocrisy was clear, even to beginners. Gravel roads leading to a church on the hill, where they preach about heaven but create living hell. For anyone different, for anyone lost, for anyone questioning the spiritual cost of blind faith following without asking why. So I found my own gospel that's equally bold.
Down these gravel roads, between the sacred and profane, I found my own salvation through the sunshine and the rain. This gravel road gospel ain't taught in no church. This gravel road gospel comes from the dirt, from struggle and strife, and living with pain, from losing it all just to build back again. This gravel road gospel's written in scars, in prison cell wisdom and broken down cars, and fighting the demons that follow you home. This gravel road gospel is all that I know.
Preachers in the pulpits talking streets of gold, while people in the pews are broken, growing old, tithing their last dollars, hoping for a miracle. Other collection plates build churches that look biblical. Found more truth in the words of the broken, in the eyes of the addicts when recovery spoken, in the trembling hands of a man trying to change, in the tear-stained face of the formerly deranged, who hit rock bottom and still found a way to climb back to life and find words to say that reach deeper than any sermon could preach, cause they've walked through the hell that the gospels just teach. Down these gravel roads, between the sacred and profane, I found going through the sunshine and the rain. This gravel road gospel ain't taught in no church. This gravel road gospel comes from the dirt, from struggle and strife, and living with pain, from losing it all just to build back again. This gravel road gospel's written in scars, in prison cell wisdom, and broken down cars, in fighting the demons that follow you home. This gravel road gospel is all that I know. They call it backsliding when you question the truth. They call it blasphemy when you find your own way. But what's more sacred than a soul saved? Not by blind faith or by fearful surrender, but by walking through fire and emerging tender, yet stronger in spirit, authentically whole. Real salvation doesn't come from a book, no. Real passion comes from road that you took, through darkness and struggle when no one will look. When your knees were blooded and your spirit shook. Real doubts was written in actions, not words. In finding your peace after spiritual wars. Now I preach my gospel through these speakers and mics, through stories of darkness, finding slivers of light, through anthems of struggle that hit like a fist. I found salvation in this gravel road truth, that God ain't in buildings but in what you do, in hands that help others, in words that heal pain, and standing back up in the pouring rain, and forgiving yourself when you falling short, and fighting battles that you never thought you'd have the strength to face, much less to win. Yet here you stand, ready to spread this gravel road gospel till the day you're dead. This gravel road gospel ain't taught in no church. This gravel road gospel comes from the dirt, from struggle and strife, and living with pain, from losing it all just to build back again. This gravel road gospel's written in scars, in prison cell wisdom, and broken down cars, in fighting the demons that follow you home. This gravel road gospel is all that I know. They say the truth ain't pretty. They say salvation ain't free, but down these gravel roads is where I found my gospel. Deep in these woods where the law rarely treads, where sinners and saints share the same kind of beds. Welcome to Babylon, country style, heaven and hell dancing all the while. Trailer park kingdom where the pine trees tower, moonshine chapel where the spirits devour. All your inhibitions, all your small town rules, paradise for outlaws, hell for righteous fools. Daddy was a preacher, mama was a witch, 1 foot in the pulpit, 1 foot in the ditch. Raised on contradictions, holy paradox, Sunday morning Jesus, Saturday night detox. Sheriff knows my name but he don't know my soul. Preacher knows my sins but he don't know my goals. Living in the margins of morality's map, where angels fear to tread and demons take a nap. This backwoods Babylon's got its own commandments, deep fried salvation with a side of damnation, Bible belt buckle with a hidden knife. That's just how we're living this backwoods life, true. Caught between heaven and hell, with stories too wild to tell. Baptized in whiskey and fire, salvation's what we desire. Backwoods Babylon, where sinners go to pray. Backwoods Babylon, where saints come to play. Hallelujah in hell, yeah, in the same damn breath. Backwoods Babylon, the holiest mess. Double white cathedrals with the satellite dishes, praying to God for materialistic wishes. Gold-plated crosses on a rusted-out truck, faith without works, just praying for luck. Church signs warning of eternal flames, while deacons gambling, calling different names. Hypocrisy hidden behind scripture verse, blessed with one hand, the other hand cursed. Bonfire baptisms where the young get wild, drinking the blood of Christ country style. Speaking in tongues after too much shine, religious ecstasy and moonshine divine. We've created our Eden from mud and clay, our paradise lost, found a different way. Between the chapel and the county line, that's where redemption tastes like homemade wine. Drink caught between heaven and hell, with stories too wild to tell. Baptized in whiskey and fire, salvation's what we desire. Backwoods Babylon, where sinners go to pray.
freedom in these contradicting ways, where the lines blur between the nights and the days, between the holy and profane, between the pleasure and the pain. In this backwoods Babylon, we've learned to embrace the stain.
Raise your hands to the sky, up high, like you're praying but you're getting high. So high, on the spirit or the spirits, it don't matter. Nope, both will make your earthly trouble scatter. God is watching but he understands that paradise and perdition go hand in hand. In this backwoods Babylon we build, from the sacred and profane all exists below. Conviction of booths in the form of bar stools, pouring out your heart while you're breaking the rules. Pastor's daughter dancing where she shouldn't be seen. Deacon's son dealing behind the canteen. But don't judge too quickly, don't cast that stone. We're all just searching for a heavenly home in the most unheavenly ways we can find, trying to feed both the body and mind with whatever gets us through another day. Whether we choose to curse or whether we pray, the juxtaposition of the holy and heathen creates this backwoods Babylon we're living and breathing. A place of contrast where nothing makes sense, where survival and salvation share the same fence, where we've learned to find God in the strangest of places, in the darkest of hearts and the saddest of faces. Amen.
Backwoods Babylon, where sinners go to pray. Backwoods Babylon, where saints come to play. Hallelujah and hell yeah, in the same damn breath. Backwoods Babylon, the holiest mess.
Deep in these woods where the law really treads, where sinners and saints share the same kind of beds. Welcome to Babylon, country style, heaven and hell dancing all the while. 3 years sober, but the memories still burn like whiskey down the throat, like lessons never learned. The scars on my wrist tell a story of pain, of a man I once was and hope never to be again. Started with a fit at 15 and numb the pain of a childhood stolen by hands that left no stains visible to others, but I felt them on my soul. So I poured brown liquid in the emptiness and holes. Whiskey wisdom told me I could handle one more shot, while the devil on my shoulder said don't stop, don't stop. Functioning alcoholic is what they called me then. Functioning just meaning I could hide it from my friends till I couldn't anymore, and the walls came crashing down. Lost my job, my girl, my dignity, about to drown in a sea of amber poison that once felt like my friend, now revealed itself as enemy. Waiting for the end of a life that seemed worthless in the bottom of that glass. Reflection distorted, showing futures in the past that merged into one nightmare I couldn't escape, till the wirecuts on my wrist showed how much I could take. No more whiskey and wirecuts, the story of my fall. Rock bottom confessions when your back's against the wall. Whiskey and wirecuts, the scars that remain, reminders of darkness and the strength to break these chains. Hospital fluorescence replaced the barroom lights. Psychiatric ward became my home for 30 nights. Detoxing demons screaming as they left my veins. Mind clearing slowly through the withdrawal pains. Found myself surrounded by the broken just like me. Different paths to hell but similar debris. Left behind in lives that almost ended by our hand, or by substances consuming more than we had planned. Group therapy circles where I finally spoke truth about the reasons that I started in my youth. About the shame and anger that I carried like a cross. About the self-destruction and the innocence I lost. The counsel said softly as I shook with fear and doubt, the poison has to leave before the healing can come out. So I purged myself of secrets held for 20 years, baptized in my own vomit and my long-held tears. Please.
The hardest step to take
is admitting you can't walk. The bravest words to say are I need help when you can't talk.
Whiskey and wirecuts, the story of my fall. Rock bottom confessions when your back's against the wall. Whiskey and wirecuts, the scars that remain, reminders of darkness and the strength to break these chains. They say recovery isn't for those who need it, it's for those who want it. And wanting something means you believe it's possible that you deserve it. That's the hardest part, believing you deserve to be saved when you spent so long trying to destroy yourself.
One day at a time, breathe in. 1 hour when days are too much. Hold on. 1 minute when hours stretch eternal. Survive. 1 second when that's all you can manage. Just live. The cravings never fully leave. They
but your strength grows with each passing day. Stronger, each battle won, each demon faced.
3 years sober now, but I don't count the days. Counting feels like bragging when so many lose their way. Back to bottles, back to blades, back to hospital beds, back to funerals for the friends who end up dead. I just wake each morning grateful for another chance to face life clear-headed, no longer in a trance of intoxicated numbness that masks but never heals the wounds that need exposure for the soul to truly deal with reality, with trauma, with the cards that we were dealt, with the pain that we've been running from and finally felt. My sponsor told me something that I carry to this day. The whiskey promised everything but took it all away. Now I hold that truth like armor when temptation calls. When I see those wire cut scars and shower stalls, reminding me of darkness but also of the light that found me in that darkness on my darkest night. Found whiskey and wire cuts, the story of my fall. Rock bottom confessions when your back's against the wall. Whiskey and wire cuts, the scars that remain, reminders of darkness and the strength to break these chains.
They say the devil's in the details of every deal you make, but what they don't tell you is how sweet those terms and conditions taste.
Crossroads at midnight, classic scenes. Sold for sale, American dream. Standing there sweating, Bible in hand, wondering if salvation's part of the plan. The serpent speaks sweetly, promises gold, whispers of pleasures both new and old. Sign here in blood, oldest trick in the book, but desperate times deserve a second look at what you'd sacrifice for one moment of peace. For the suffering and struggle to finally cease. For the pain in your body, the noise in your head, the voices reminding you you're better off dead. So you shake that clawed hand despite what you know, despite Sunday sermons where they told you to go in the opposite direction of the tempter's call. But heaven feels distant when you're about to fall.
Every promise has a price. Every shortcut costs your soul. When you're dancing with the devil, he always leads the protocol.
Devil's bargain, signed in blood, 30 pieces of silver for a taste of love. Devil's bargain, heaven can wait when hell offers answers and heaven says pray. Devil's bargain, don't read the fine print, your soul's collateral for what he might grant. Devil's bargain, we've all been there when desperation drowns out every prayer.
Judas justified his betrayal with greed. 30 silver pieces for the ultimate deed. Eve bit the apple for knowledge's sake. The forbidden fruit proved too sweet to forsake. Moses' people danced round golden calves when the wait for salvation stretched too long by half. Even Jesus was tempted for 40 long days with kingdoms and riches if he changed his ways. So who am I to think that I'd stand a chance when prophets and saints fell under that trance of instant gratification, of pain wiped away, of burdens lifted when there's hell to pay? The devil knows exactly what you want the most, customizes temptation like a perfect host. Exploits every weakness, every crack in your faith, every doubt in your mind becomes the perfect bait.
Every promise has a price. Every shortcut costs your soul. When you're dancing with the devil, he always leads the protocol.
Devil's bargain, signed in blood, 30 pieces of silver for a taste of love. Devil's bargain, heaven can wait when hell offers answers and heaven says pray. Devil's bargain, don't read the fine print, your soul's collateral for what he might grant. Devil's bargain, we've all been there when desperation drowns out every prayer.
They never tell you how good it feels at first. The immediate relief when the deal is done. The weight lifting off your tired shoulders. The problems disappearing one by one. They never warn you about the sweetness before the inevitable bitter aftertaste. They just preach about resistance, never understanding the allure of surrender.
Philip doesn't come with goals and the tails like it's everything you want without fail. He doesn't force your hand, he just suggests that maybe God's plan isn't really the best. He offers shoulders when the road seems long, comfort and pleasure when life feels long. By the time you realize the cost too great, your soul's already on his dinner plate.
Made my own deals at the crossroads of life, chasing quick fixes for my internal strife. Substances promising escape from the pain, choices offering sunshine instead of rain. Relationships toxic but feeling like home, anything to avoid feeling so alone. The devil wears different masks for us all, customized temptations designed for a fall. But here's what I learned when the bill came due, when the consequence arrived right on cue, when the pleasure faded and the pain returned, multiply sevenfold from the bridges I burned. No bargain is worth the cost of your soul, no temporary relief worth a permanent toll. No demon's deal can deliver what's real, only steal what you have for what you think you feel.
Remember, devil's bargain, signed in blood, blood, 30 pieces of silver for a taste of love. Devil's bargain, heaven can wait when hell offers answers and heaven says pray. Devil's bargain, don't read the fine print, your soul's collateral for what he might grant. We've all been there when desperation drowns out every prayer.
They say the devil's in the details of every deal you make. So read the fine print carefully before your soul's at stake.
Some confessions only come out at night, where the darkness feels safer, safe than stepping into light.
Dirt road, therapy sessions in a pickup truck bed, stars overhead, listening to every word said. County line confessions where nobody judges, just rusty tailgates and whiskey that nudges the truth from your lips that you never speak. And daylight conversations throughout the week, where appearances matter and rumors spread faster than wildfire, leaving reputations dead. Small town existence, fishbowl living, where everyone's watching but nobody's giving the benefit of doubt when you stumble and fall. So we save our real truth for the coyote calls, for midnight revelations with trusted few, for backward absolution when day is through. These county line crosses into freedom zones, where buried secrets rise up from their bones. Truth.
County line confessions under southern stars, whiskey-soaked truths about who we are, things we only say when the world goes dark, stories that we keep hidden in our hearts. County line confessions, sacred as a prayer, burdens getting lighter in the midnight air, crossing that boundary where we can be real, healing in the sharing of the things we've.
Bobby confessed that he's scared to death of following his daddy's path, of working himself to death in that same factory for 30 years straight. A life sentence of labor that just couldn't wait to claim his father's body at 53. A future Bobby swore never claim him, you see. Sarah admitted through tears in her eyes that her perfect marriage was built on perfect lies, that her husband's hands weren't always gentle, that her bruises hidden became accidental. According to stories she told at church, while the truth inside continued to lurch. Pastor Tom revealed after midnight struck that his faith was failing and he felt stuck, preaching certainty when doubts filled his mind. These county line truths of a different kind, hear that.
When the daylight masks come off and the night gives permission to be who we really are underneath what the world is allowed to see. County line confessions under southern stars, whiskey-soaked truths about who we are, things we only say when the world goes dark, stories that we keep hidden in our hearts. County line confessions, sacred as a prayer, burdens getting lighter in the midnight air, crossing that boundary where we can be real, healing in the sharing of the things we feel.
Something about crossing that invisible line, where one jurisdiction ends and another begins, that makes it feel safer to speak your truth. As if the words themselves can't follow you back into the light of day, into a world of judgment. These borders become sacred spaces, conversion of booths made of dirt and distance, where absolution comes not from a priest, but from the understanding nods of those who are just as broken as you are.
Small town holds 100 secrets, every smiling face hides 1,000 regrets. County line crosses become sacred temples, where the real sacrifice is what it represents. Not the postcard pictures of the shame or fate, but the struggling souls and the breaking backs. The prayers for rain when the crops are dying, the prayers for strength when the spirit's trying.
My own confession came on a night in June, tailgate down, crickets chirping a tune, stars witnessing words I'd never spoke, about dreams deferred and spirits broke, about the weight of family name and legacy, about the suffer silent nobody could see, about the love I felt for someone I shouldn't, about the future I wanted but couldn't. And as those words left my lips and entered the night, something inside me finally felt right, like chains had been loosened if not fully broke, like breathing came easier after nearly choked on truths too heavy to carry alone, on burdens too personal to be widely known. These county line sessions save more than one soul from darkness consuming us whole.
Save me.
County line confessions under southern stars, whiskey-soaked truths about who we are, things we only say when the world goes dark, stories that we keep hidden in our hearts. County line confessions, sacred as a prayer, burdens getting lighter in the midnight air, crossing that boundary where we can be real, healing in the sharing of the things we feel.
Sitting in county lockup for the third time this year. Reflection in the metal mirror, showing nothing but fear. In eyes that once held dreams, now holding back tears. As the judge said, next time it's 5 to 10, that's clear. Released to the world with nothing but shame, and the clothes on my back, no one to blame. But the man in the mirror making choice so poor that family and friends wouldn't answer no more. When my name lit up their phones, they'd seen this before. The promises to change that never took hold. The apologies empty, the same story told. Until even I couldn't believe the lies I was told. I stood outside those jailhouse doors with nowhere to go and no one to call. When I spotted that rusted out bike by the fence, last owned by some inmate who ain't coming back hence. Freedom! Sometimes rock bottom gives you wings. Sometimes the end is where it begins. When there's nowhere to go but up, and the only way out is through. This redemption ride ain't got no map, just an open road and no looking back. 2 wheels carrying me away from the man I was yesterday. This redemption ride through storm and sun, engine roaring louder than the demons I've run. Wind washing clean what tears couldn't take. Salvation found in every mile I made. Stop was the liquor store I used to raid, but this time I just stood outside, wasn't afraid to face the temptation and turn away. Kick-started that freedom, had nothing to stay for in that town that only knew my mistakes, not the potential underneath all the breaks. Second stop was my mama's place, hat in hand, hoping for forgiveness I don't understand. Deserving after all the hurt I caused, all the sleepless nights and doors she barred, after money stolen and trust betrayed, after all the tears that she had paid. As a mother watching her son struck, but she opened that door and then she hugged without a word, just held me tight. First step on this redemption ride. Thank you. Sometimes rock bottom gives you wings. Sometimes the end is where it begins. When there's nowhere to go but up, and the only way out is through. This redemption ride ain't got no map, just an open road and no looking back. 2 wheels carrying me away from the man I was yesterday. This redemption ride through storm and sun, engine roaring louder than the demons I've run. Wind washing clean what tears couldn't take. Salvation found in every mile I make. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but for some of us, it begins with a single turn of a throttle, a decision to move in any direction other than the circle. We've been riding in for years. The road to redemption isn't straight. It's got hairpin turns and blind corners. Moments when you almost lay it down, but somehow keep it upright, 1 mile at a time. Full throttle tour with tomorrow. Ride. Living as skid marks on my past. Burning rubber, burning bitches gone to the life that couldn't last. Leveling a 12-volt red tears faster. Headlights cutting through the dark. Highway Baptism at midnight. With every sparkle spark. 3 years sober now with 10,000 miles on that motorcycle. That changed my life. Patched the rust, fixed the engine. Chrome's now gleaming like the second chance that I'm now living. Got a steady job and a place to stay. Got relationships that grow each day with trust rebuilt through action shown, through promises kept, not words alone. Still ride that bike to meetings twice a week to share my story with those who seek the same redemption that found me when I had nothing left but the need to mend the broken pieces of a shattered man, with help from others who understand that rock bottom could be fertile ground if you're finally ready to turn around. This redemption ride ain't got no map, just an open road and no looking back. 2 wheels carrying me away from the man I was yesterday. This redemption ride through storm and sun, engine roaring louder than the demons I've run. Wind washing clean what tears couldn't take. Salvation found in every mile I make. Rock bottom ain't the end of the road, just a place where I found a new direction. Salvation came on 2 wheels when I had nowhere to go but up, and I'm still riding.
Baptized in the muddy waters of my past mistakes, submerged in the consequences that my choices make. Coming up for air with a clearer view of the man I was and the man breaking through. This chrysalis of pain that enclosed me for years, this cocoon of addiction, regret and fears that kept me bound to a life I didn't choose, where every day felt like another day to lose. But something happened down by that riverside, when I finally surrendered and laid down my pride. When I stopped fighting battles I couldn't win and started facing the demons that live within. Southern resurrection ain't about religion, it's about rebirth after complete collision with rock bottom, with truth unvarnished and raw, with the reflection in the mirror you finally saw.
Rising from these ashes, phoenix with southern wings. Death couldn't hold me, life begins to sing. The southern resurrection brings me back to life, born again through struggle, through pain and strife. Not the man I was, but not yet who I'll be. Just grateful for this journey, setting my soul free. The southern resurrection breaks the chains, washes clean the guilty conscience, all the stains of a past that shaped but doesn't define the future I'm building one day at a time.
They tried to bury me but didn't know I was a seed that would grow through concrete with relentless speed, pushing through barriers, breaking through walls, answering destiny when it finally calls. With the voice made us stronger through suffering's fire, with the spirit tempered by life's trials most dire. Not claiming perfection, still stumble and fall, but no longer staying down when obstacles sprawl across my path, trying to block my way. No longer letting setbacks have the final say in who I become and what I achieve, and the legacy I'm building, the mark I'll leave on this world that once nearly swallowed me whole, that once almost claimed my body and soul. But resurrection power can't be denied when determination and faith collide.
Rising from these ashes, phoenix with southern wings. Death couldn't hold me, life begins to sing. The southern resurrection brings me back to life, born again through struggle, through pain and strife. Not the man I was, but not yet who I'll be. Just grateful for this journey, setting my soul free. The southern resurrection breaks the chains, washes clean the guilty conscience, all the stains of a past that shaped but doesn't define the future I'm building one day at a time.
They say the South knows resurrection better than most, a region reborn through fire and loss. And maybe that's why redemption runs so deep in our soil, because we understand that rebirth requires death first, that new life comes only after old ways are buried, that morning always feels brightest after the darkest night. That's the southern way: endure, overcome, rise again. Rise up from the ashes of yesterday. Rise up, shake off the gray clothes that kept you bound. Break free, walk out of the tomb of your making. Walk out, resurrection power, a king now crowned. Soul strength, born a generation strong. Backwoods wisdom, never part grace. Dirt road faith leading to salvation. Revered written across your face. From gravel road gospels to county line confessions, from whiskey withdrawal to midnight sessions, from devil's bargains to sinners' prayers, from rock bottom rides to newfound air. This southern resurrection brings it all together. Every storm survived, every change in weather, every mile traveled on this journey of growth, every promise made in this time I kept both. Feet planted firmly on redemption's ground, no longer lost, but finally found. Purpose in pain, meaning in scars, guidance from struggles, wisdom from stars that shone even when clouds tried to hide their light, that burned through darkness on the coldest night. This resurrection story's still being written, each day a new chapter in this life I'm living.
Resurrection brings me back to life, born again through struggle, through pain and strife. Not the man I was, but not yet who I'll be. Just grateful for this journey, setting my soul free.